Hi beautiful queens, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lily Kele. I am a qualified social worker and the founding director of a Women's Second Chance non-profit organization. If you're new to this channel, welcome to the family, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Today queens, I'm going to talk about trauma bonding. There are a lot of people in relationships, right? But are those relationships healthy or unhealthy? And queens, today's video is not going to be long at all. I'm just going to go straight ahead and share the signs of trauma bonding with the aim to help you recognize if you are in a healthy relationship or you are trauma bonded to your partner. And without wasting any further time, let us get straight to it. Trauma bonding, queens, is a psychological response to abuse. It occurs when a person that is being abused forms a very strong, unhealthy bond with the person that is abusing them. That is why sometimes you wonder, why does so-and-so stay in an abusive relationship when they can just pack their bags and leave? They're so beautiful, they can have it all, they can start off red, but they still choose to stay in an abusive relationship. And then we start judging them. When in reality, though, people cannot help the development of trauma bonds, and no one in their right state of mind can ever choose to stay in an abusive relationship and enjoy being abused. People don't just choose abuse, and this type of bond is mostly driven by a strong biological process. So we need to stop judging people. So let us get to the signs of trauma bonding. How do you know that you are trauma bonded to your partner? Okay, number one, queens, is you are the type of person who justifies and defends the abuse. Have you ever seen a person with a blue eye who has been physically assaulted by their partner? And when you ask Uguti, what happened to your face? They will say, I was just walking, and then I did not see the door, and then I banged my face. That is why I have a blue eye. Or they always cover up for the abuser's behavior. And sometimes umuzumuntu ati, he is doing this because he loves me so much. You wouldn't understand. Guys, he is abusing you because he loves you so much. Love and abuse, how do they mix up? Can you see ukuthi there's something clearly not right with the person or a victim? I made him do this to me. There is no excuse for abuse. Even if you were to do 1, 2, 3, 4, if a person abuses you, it is wrong. There is no need to cover it up. But it's easier said than done. Number two, whenever a person tries to help you, you cut them off, or you argue with them, or you make them feel bad for helping you, for trying to help you. And you would say things like, oh no, Usipo is the love of my life. I'm never going to leave him. You are just jealous. Just jealous. Jealous of what? Of the fact that you are being made a punching bag. You are being emotionally and mentally abused by your partner. And you are saying people that are helping you are jealous of you. Can you see, Uguti, there is clearly something not right again. But until you put yourself in a victim's shoes, you wouldn't understand. It is very difficult to understand if you are the person who's not in that situation at that time. That's why I said we must not judge such people. Number three is you are trauma bonded to your partner if you agree with his reasons for abusing you. For example, you take blame of his abusive behavior towards you. You would say something like, it is my fault. I made him angry, guys. It is my fault. Lapho awenzanga lutho. You have done absolutely nothing wrong, but you would say it is your fault. You made them angry. That's why he's angry, because I made him do it. So you are taking ownership of that bad behavior or his manipulative reasons for abusing you. You are owning up to them. Another sign would be, when your mind tells you this relationship is not healthy, you have to leave. This is not good for you. You have to leave. but then you become reluctant and unwilling to take steps towards leaving the abusive situation or just breaking that bond. You are just unwilling. So you continue staying. But why do people stay in such relationships? One, people stay because they have that sense of loyalty to their partners, to their abusive partners. And then they have this promised better future. They hold on to that. One day he will change. One day he will marry me. One day he will start providing for the children. One day he will stop abusing me. And they stay because of those promises, those empty promises. And sometimes they just choose to ignore all the wrong things and focus on the positive. The positive sometimes being, he abused you today. He was swearing at you the whole night. And then tomorrow morning, he wakes up and buys you flowers. You see how manipulative abusers are. He beats you up. He buys you a car. Then instead of leaving, you just think of the car that he bought you. But then tomorrow, the abuse continues. And another reason why people stay in abusive relationships is because sometimes we depend on men financially. So you think, if I leave this man today, where am I going to go? Some partners, they will make you break the relationship with your friends or with your family. They will make you turn your back on your family so that they can abuse you, knowing very well that you have nowhere to go. And so when you're thinking of leaving, you don't have a shelter, you are not educated, you don't have money, you cannot even go to work, you don't have a job, and you're thinking, if I leave this man, where am I going to go? So that is why I keep saying we should not judge these people that are in these situations. Instead, we can offer help, we can give them, provide information, or say, listen, friend, there's a crisis center that I know, here are the numbers. There's a shelter for abused women and children. Here are the details. Instead of just judging them. Also, sometimes people that stay in abusive relationships, they think it's a normal thing. As a child, you see your mom gets abused by your dad, and you grow up thinking, okay, so this is normal. Abuse is normal. So when you're in an abusive relationship, you just continue to stay because you think it's a normal thing. You see, and that is why I always say we need to protect our children. We need to stop negative behaviors that will impact our children in the future when we are not longer even there, that will impact them negatively. So we need to protect our kids so that when they grow up, they know what's right and what's wrong. Queens, if you feel like the signs that I've just mentioned apply to you, I want you to know that I do understand that breaking trauma bonds is extremely difficult. I would suggest that you find yourself an understanding therapist or a counselor who will provide you with a safe space so that you are able to express your thoughts, your feelings, as well as your experiences. Breaking trauma bonds or moving away from abusive relationships, sometimes it's difficult to do on your own and requires professional help. I would also suggest that you start facing reality. Try and acknowledge what is currently happening right now. Focus on the evidence. Focus on the impact that it has on your children, on yourself, on your health, on your loved ones, and just pause and reflect. Your partner has already promised that he will change a number of times, but he still hasn't. Until your partner gets help, if they have a behavior problem or they have a drinking problem, until they themselves want to change or require help, they themselves, you can never force them to get help. And until they get that help, they will continue to abuse you. And you need to stop with the self-blame. That voice, that little voice in your head that tells you that you are not good enough, that you are not strong enough to leave, that you will never amount to anything if you leave this abusive relationship, it is lying to you. It is lying to you. You can always start afresh. I know it's difficult to just start from scratch, but Would you rather that you die and leave your kids to suffer, or start afresh? Please remind yourself that the abuse is never your fault, and it will never be your fault, no matter what you may have done or may not have done. Also, just stop thinking about what people will say. Abantu bazothini. People will always talk, whether you are happily married or happily in a good relationship, they will always talk. Whether you have it all, they will talk. So even if it means you must become a waitress, from living in a mansion to becoming a waitress, if it means that's the only way you can have peace of mind, you can live a healthy life, then do it for yourself. If you're not doing it for yourself, do it for your kids. Please remember that you are beautiful, you are a queen, and God will always have your back. You are strong, you deserve everything that is beautiful. I love you, and I will see you next time.